Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're looking at AI and cybersecurity. Specifically, we're going to be focusing on one particular company. And our source material for today is an article from The Motley Fool, published on January 8th, 2025.
Interesting.
So, pretty recent. I think this is going to be a really fascinating one.
I think so too.
Yeah.
What I find so interesting is how this article really paints a picture of a future that's already here.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just talking about some far-off sci-fi scenario.
Right.
This is AI actively reshaping cybersecurity right now.
You're absolutely right. And you know what really drove that point home for me? It was this one statistic in the article. It says that cybercrime is predicted to cause $10.5 trillion in damages globally just this year.
Whoa.
Trillion. That's not even a word I use on a regular basis.
It's a staggering figure, and it just goes to show how important this issue is.
Right.
You know, as cyber attacks become more frequent and more sophisticated. Traditional security measures are struggling to keep up.
It's like trying to fight a tank with a water pistol, right?
Exactly.
So how does AI change the game?
Well, the article introduces us to a company called SentinelOne, which is a cybersecurity company that's using AI to provide automated protection. And they're not just talking about it, they're actually getting results.
Oh, okay. Spill the tea. What kind of results are they getting?
So in the recent MIIE, ATT, and CK evaluations, which are essentially like the Olympics for cybersecurity.
Oh, wow.
SentinelOne achieved a perfect score.
A perfect score.
100% detection accuracy with 0 delays.
So they aced it.
Yeah, they aced the test.
It's the Cybersecurity Olympics.
Yes. And these evaluations, they simulate real-world attacks.
Yeah.
You know, mimicking what actual cyber criminals do.
Oh, wow.
So a perfect score is incredibly rare.
Yeah.
And signifies a really advanced level of protection.
So this is something worth paying attention to.
Yeah.
What makes their approach to AI so special?
Well, one thing that sets SentinelOne apart is this idea of autonomous protection.
Okay.
So their AI can not only detect threats, but it can actually respond to them in real time without any human intervention.
So it's like having a digital bodyguard constantly watching your back.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
And this is becoming increasingly important as cyber attacks become more sophisticated and complex.
Right.
You know, they're overwhelming human security teams.
Yeah, the article mentioned some pretty scary statistics about that, actually. Something about a huge spike in spyware and phishing attacks.
Yeah, absolutely. So in recent years, the volume and complexity of these attacks have skyrocketed. For example, Zscaler, another cybersecurity firm, reported that spyware attacks have doubled in just the past year. And Palo Alto Networks observed a 10-fold surge in phishing attacks compared to 2023.
10-fold.
Yeah.
That's like if your daily commute suddenly became 10 times longer. Nobody wants to deal with that.
Nobody wants to deal with that.
It sounds like traditional security measures are barely keeping their heads above water.
And that's where AI-powered solutions, like SentinelOne's Singularity platform, really come into play.
Let's unpack this Singularity platform.
Yeah.
What exactly are we talking about here? Is it some kind of impenetrable digital fortress?
I like to think of it as a really comprehensive security system. You know, it covers all the bases. It protects cloud networks, employee identities, and endpoints, like laptops, smartphones, servers, basically any device that's connected to a network.
So it's like having a multi-layered defense system that can adapt to all sorts of threats no matter where they come from.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see why SentinelOne is getting so much attention.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, when I hear AI-powered security, the first thing that comes to mind is like a screen flooded with alerts and notifications.
Yeah.
Isn't there a risk of information overload?
That's a great question, and it's a valid concern, and it's actually something that SentinelOne has tried to address. One of the key features of Singularity is its ability to minimize what's called alert fatigue.
Alert fatigue?
Yeah, imagine being bombarded with so many notifications that you just start tuning them out.
Right.
That's alert fatigue. It's a major vulnerability in any security system.
I know that feeling all too well. It's like having a car alarm that goes off every time a leaf blows by.
Yeah.
Eventually you just stop paying attention.
Exactly. And Singularity, instead of flooding human managers with alerts, it intelligently prioritizes and organizes them.
Okay.
So it can actually track security events autonomously. And then it pieces together what happened and when, and then presents it to human managers in a clear and manageable way.
So instead of drowning in a sea of data, security teams get this streamlined view of the most important threats.
Right, exactly. It's all about empowering those human teams with AI insights.
Right.
It's not about replacing them.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets really interesting. SentinelOne has this virtual assistant.
A virtual assistant?
Yes, called Purple AI.
A virtual assistant for cybersecurity.
Yes.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about Purple AI. What exactly can it do?
So Purple AI is like your own personal AI detective.
Oh, okay.
It's constantly analyzing data, looking for suspicious activity.
Yeah.
And you can actually ask it questions about security events.
Oh, wow.
For example, let's say you notice some unusual activity on a particular server. You could ask Purple AI, hey, what happened on this server last night between 8 p.m. and midnight? And it would give you a detailed timeline of events and highlight anything that might be cause for concern.
That's amazing. It's like having an AI expert on call 247, ready to answer any question and dig deeper into potential threats.
Right.
It really feels like we're stepping into a whole new era of cybersecurity.
Absolutely.
But all of this technology, it's got to come at a price, right? Is SentinelOne actually making money with all of this?
They seem to be on a really upward trajectory.
Okay.
Their revenue for the third quarter of 2025 was $211 million, which is a 28% jump compared to last year.
Oh, wow.
And they're projected to end their fiscal year with around $818 million in total revenue, which is a record for them.
Okay, so they're not exactly struggling financially.
They're doing very well.
That's a pretty impressive growth rate.
It is. And it's not just the raw numbers, it's also the clients that they're attracting.
Right.
They now have over 1,300 customers who are spending at least $100,000 annually on their platform. And even more telling, a record number are spending over $1 million each year with them.
It seems like the big players are really buying into what SentinelOne is offering.
Yes.
That says a lot about their credibility, and the demand for this kind of AI-driven security.
It does.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Now, it's important to note that they're not yet profitable by the standard accounting measures.
Oh, okay.
But, they have shrunk their losses compared to last year. And get this. They've actually achieved a small profit using non-GAAP figures. So this is when you exclude things like stock-based compensation.
So while they're not swimming in profits just yet, they're definitely moving in the right direction.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting when we start comparing them to other big names in the industry.
Oh, this is where the competition heats up. Bring on the contenders. Who are we talking about here?
So the article mentions CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, and Zscaler. So these are all big names in cybersecurity. They're also incorporating AI into their offerings. But here's the thing. SentinelOne's stock price, it dropped significantly from its peak in 2021 and is currently trading at a lower price compared to these competitors.
So is this a case of a company being undervalued? Could this be an opportunity for investors?
That's the question. To get a sense of whether a company is priced fairly, investors often look at this thing called the price-to-sales ratio, or PS ratio. And this compares the company's stock price to its revenue. And SentinelOne's PS ratio is 9.1 right now, which is actually lower than CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, and Zscaler, even though their revenue growth is similar, or even better in some cases.
That does make you wonder if they're flying under the radar a bit.
Yeah, maybe a hidden gem in the cybersecurity world.
Possibly.
Potentially.
Interesting.
And this ties into the broader growth of the cybersecurity market. As a whole. Gartner is predicting a 15% increase in cybersecurity spending this year, reaching a massive $212 billion globally.
$212 billion. That's a lot of money being poured into cybersecurity.
It is.
It sounds like there's plenty of room for multiple companies to thrive in this market.
Absolutely. And, given their AI-driven approach and their strong performance, SentinelOne seems really well positioned to capitalize on this growth.
Yeah.
But there's more to this story than just financial performance and market projections. There's a bigger picture here. It boils down to this evolving relationship between humans and machines in the world of security.
Okay, let's dive into that. This is where things are really philosophical. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like we're entering this dance between human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
Right.
And they both have, their own strengths and limitations.
You're right. AI is undeniably powerful. especially when it comes to processing massive amounts of data
Yes.
and spotting patterns that humans might miss.
Absolutely.
But we also can't forget about that human intuition, creativity, that gut feeling that something isn't quite right.
It's true.
That ability to kind of connect the dots and see the bigger picture
Yeah.
that AI sometimes struggles with.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to have humans and AI working together.
Yeah, it seems like the ideal scenario is one where humans and AI are collaborating, each complementing each other's strengths.
Exactly. And that brings us to this really important point, which is responsible AI development.
Let's talk about that. What are some of the key considerations when it comes to developing and deploying AI in a way that, benefits everyone?
Well, one critical aspect is transparency.
Okay.
We need to understand how these AI systems work.
Right.
How do they make decisions? What data are they using?
So no more black boxes. Right.
Exactly.
We need to be able to kind of look under the hood and see what's going on.
Yes, because transparency builds trust.
Yeah.
If we're going to rely on AI to make these important decisions.
Right, especially in cybersecurity.
We need to be confident that those decisions are being made fairly and objectively.
That makes perfect sense. But how do we actually ensure that AI is used ethically? Especially in cybersecurity where the stakes are so high.
Right. That's where human oversight is so important.
Okay.
We need to have these clear guidelines and regulations in place, to govern the development and deployment of AI.
So it's not about, stifling innovation.
No, it's not about stifling innovation. It's about making sure that AI is used in a way that aligns with our values and doesn't infringe on those fundamental rights.
It's about finding that balance between harnessing the power of AI and safeguarding against potential misuse.
Exactly. And this is where public discourse is so important.
Okay.
We need to be having these open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks of AI.
Yeah.
And not just within the tech community, but across society as a whole.
It's about demystifying AI and making it accessible to everyone so we can all participate in shaping its future.
Absolutely.
We need to move beyond the hype and the fear surrounding AI and engage in thoughtful discussions about its real-world implications.
Exactly.
So as we kind of delve deeper into this world of AI-powered cybersecurity, it's clear that we're not just talking about technology.
Right.
We're talking about ethics, responsibility, and the future of human-machine collaboration.
Exactly. And that brings us back to SentinelOne and how they fit into all of this.
Let's circle back to SentinelOne. We've talked about their technology, their financial performance, their position in the market. But what about their approach to responsible AI development? Do they seem to be taking these ethical considerations seriously?
Well, it's hard to say definitively from just this one article.
Right.
But, the fact that they're emphasizing this human-machine collaboration and focusing on augmenting human capabilities rather than replacing them suggests that they are at least aware of the potential downsides of over-reliance on AI.
So it's a step in the right direction, but it's important to remain vigilant.
Yes.
And continue asking those tough questions about transparency, accountability, and ethical development.
Absolutely. And that's something we should be doing with any company that's using AI.
It's fascinating to think about how quickly this landscape is changing.
It is.
It wasn't that long ago that the idea of AI-powered security systems was basically science fiction.
Right.
And now it's rapidly becoming reality.
It really is. And that's why it's so important to stay informed and to engage in these conversations. The choices we make today about AI development and regulation are going to have a huge impact on the future.
You're absolutely right. It's not just about protecting our data anymore. It's about protecting our values, our freedoms, and our very humanity in a world that's becoming increasingly intertwined with technology.
It's about making sure the technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And that requires a conscious effort from all of us.
Well said. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into AI-powered cybersecurity, I have one final question for you.
Okay.
The article we discussed today focused on SentinelOne, but, they're just one player in this rapidly evolving field. What are some other companies or organizations out there that are doing innovative work in the world of AI-powered cybersecurity?
Oh, that's a great question. There are so many exciting things happening right now. One company that comes to mind is Darktrace.
Okay.
They specialize in this thing called immune system technology.
Immune system technology.
Yeah, for cybersecurity. Essentially what their AI does is it learns the normal behavior of a network.
Okay.
And then flags anything that deviates from that norm. It's kind of like having a digital immune system that can detect and respond to threats.
That's a really fascinating approach. It sounds like they're taking inspiration from the biological world to create more resilient cybersecurity systems.
Exactly. And another company that's doing really interesting work is Vectra AI.
Oh, okay.
They focus on AI-driven threat detection and response, but they're specifically targeting those advanced attacks that can evade traditional security measures.
Oh, wow.
They use behavioral analytics and AI to identify those subtle patterns of malicious activity that might otherwise go unnoticed.
So it seems like there's a lot of creativity and ingenuity being poured into this field.
There is.
And as you said earlier, it's so important to stay informed about these developments.
Absolutely.
And to engage in these thoughtful discussions about their potential impact.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah. The world of AI-powered cybersecurity, it's constantly evolving. And it's up to all of us to stay curious, ask questions, and work together to make sure that this powerful technology is used for good.
Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure diving deep with you today.
It's been a pleasure being here.
Your insights and expertise have been invaluable.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey into the world of AI-powered cybersecurity. We hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity and given you a glimpse into the incredible potential of this technology to reshape the way we protect ourselves in the digital age.
Remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation. We encourage you to continue exploring, learning, and asking questions about the role of AI in our lives.
And as we've discussed today, it's not just about the technology itself. It's about the values, the ethics, and the principles that guide its development and deployment.
It's about making sure that AI is used responsibly, ethically, and in a way that benefits everyone.
So as you navigate the digital world, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay curious. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the fascinating world of knowledge and innovation. Until then, keep exploring. So to wrap things up, I want to touch on one more point that the article brought up, which is the idea of explainable AI.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about this concept?
Explainable AI, it's fascinating. It's becoming really important. Basically, it's about creating AI systems that can explain their reasoning and their decisions in a way that humans can understand.
So it's like lifting the veil on the black box, making AI more transparent and accountable.
Right, because especially in cybersecurity where the stakes are so high, we need to be able to trust those decisions.
I'm thinking it would also be incredibly helpful for security analysts who are trying to understand why an AI system flagged something as a potential threat.
Absolutely.
Instead of just getting an alert that says suspicious activity detected, they could get a detailed explanation of why the AI system came to that conclusion.
And that would help them to make more informed decisions.
It seems like explainable AI could really change the game when it comes to cybersecurity.
I think it has that potential.
Yeah.
We could have more effective threat detection and response.
Right.
And people would trust these systems a lot more.
But I imagine it must be incredibly complex to actually get AI to explain its reasoning.
Oh, it is.
Especially with these sophisticated machine learning algorithms.
It is an active area of research.
Yeah.
A lot of work to be done. But there are some promising approaches out there.
Oh, okay.
Some involve visualizing those decision-making processes. Some involve creating models that are just easier to interpret.
It sounds like we're almost teaching AI to speak our language.
That's a great way to put it.
Teaching it to explain itself in a way that we can actually understand.
Exactly.
So as we move further into the stage of AI-powered cybersecurity, explainable AI is definitely something to watch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We've covered so much today.
We have.
From the nuts and bolts of AI-powered security to these bigger questions about ethics and society and responsibility.
Yeah, it's a huge topic.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this whole landscape of AI-powered cybersecurity.
It's a topic we could talk about for hours.
I think we've done a good job summarizing some of the key points.
Yes.
We've talked about how AI has the potential to really transform cybersecurity. We talked about the ethical considerations and how important responsible development is. We talked about humans and machines and how they need to work together.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, explainable AI. And through it all, we've talked about SentinelOne and what they're doing to push the boundaries of what's possible. But we've also acknowledged that there are a lot of questions still unanswered and challenges to be addressed.
Definitely.
So for our listeners who want to keep exploring this topic, where would you recommend they go next?
Well, I would definitely say go back and check out the resources that were mentioned in that Motley Fool article. They give a really good overview of the current state of AI-powered cybersecurity.
And what about for those listeners who are more interested in the ethical and societal implications of all of this?
Oh, there's a ton of resources out there. One organization that comes to mind is the Partnership on AI. They're doing fantastic work in this area. You know, they bring together all these different people, researchers, industry leaders, civil society organizations. And they're all working to promote responsible AI development.
That's a great suggestion. We'll be sure to include a link to their website in the show notes.
Awesome.
I think it's so important for everyone to stay informed about these issues and to participate in these discussions about the future of AI.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure diving deep with you today.
Likewise.
Your insights and expertise have been fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of AI-powered cybersecurity. I hope you've learned something new today and that you'll continue to explore this fascinating and rapidly evolving field.
Absolutely.
So until next time, keep exploring.